How do you debug a problem?
That's a good problem.
How do you see yourself in 5 years?
The dark side clouds everything. Impossible to see, the future is. Hi there, I'm Alex and this is my channel Sinspiration, where I inspire you to develop a growth mindset. This is how to prepare and ace interviews, part 2, behavioral questions. If you haven't watched part 1, check out the link in the description below to learn about basic tips. The link to part 3 will be available when the video is released. Interviewing is a skill that needs to be practiced consistently to get good at. I have been interviewing every year since 2014 and have gotten a handful of offers along the way. I have compiled a list of behavioral questions that I have been asked and have asked candidates when I conducted interviews to help you land your dream job. Behavioral questions show your personality and career aspirations, how you think, and how well you work with others. It is to see if you are a good cultural fit with the team or company you're interviewing with, on top of your qualifications on your resume and technical expertise. Let's jump right in. Questions about your personality and career are to get a sense of who you are as a person, your aspirations, and what makes you unique. What led you to become interested in our company? This is a test to see if you did some research on the company prior to the interview. You'll want to spend at least 5 to 10 minutes looking on their company website to learn more about the company mission and their products or services. Then, tie this to your interests and career goals to explain how this role is a good fit for you. Why do you want to leave your current job? Classic trap question. Don't say anything negative about your current job or employer. Even if it's true, you have to train yourself to refrain from bad-mouthing. I recommend leaving out compensation as well. Instead, shift the focus to why this new role is a better fit for you. Or you can talk about how you want to continue to challenge yourself and learn something new or different. Describe your ideal job. Pause before answering. Your interviewer wants to see if the job you're applying for matches your expectations and interests. The tasks you describe and the skills you want to learn should be related to the job you're applying for, even if it's not your ideal job. Tell me about a time when you were not satisfied with your work. Refrain yourself from ranting. Be professional. We've all had times where we had to do something we disliked or put up with difficult team members or managers. Briefly describe the situation and how you handled it. Mention it was a learning experience. An example is in my first job, I was assigned to do system test, which isn't what I signed up for, and I wanted to do software development. I brought this up to my manager, and we worked out a plan to satisfy the team needs and my requests within 6 months. Tell me about a time when you did something beyond your work responsibilities. This question sees if you're someone who takes initiatives and doesn't only do what's been asked from your manager. You can talk about how you added extra features, made something scalable or easily maintainable, automated processes, etc. Think outside the box. For non-technical ideas, I volunteer to recruit interns and new college grads at universities. For all of these, get approval from your manager first to ensure priorities are aligned. What is your greatest strength and weakness? Great question to check if you're humble. When describing your strength, show confidence, not arrogance. You can mention this is something you can bring to the team and company. For weakness, your interviewer just wants to see if you feel comfortable answering it. Never say you don't have a weakness or can't think of one. Do explain how you're addressing your weakness. When I answer this question, my strength is I have the ability to remain calm in tough situations, to work out a solution myself or with others. And my weakness is I take longer than most people to understand new knowledge or master a new skill. How do you see yourself in 5 years? 10 years? Classic question to see if you think about your future career aspirations. One word of caution. Don't say you want to be in your interviewer's position. especially the hiring manager or an even higher position. You'll be seen as a competitor instead of a teammate. It is best to talk about gaining more experience, learning something specific in the job role, or working on a cool project. For me, I'd say be an expert in developing software for deep learning applications in computer vision and natural language processing, and mentoring engineers. Only if they ask if I want to be a manager one day, I'll tell them yes, because I enjoy enabling others to do their best work and grow in their careers. What can you bring to the team and company? Ask not what the company can do for you, ask what you can do for the company. You are unique in your own way and can contribute value. Think about your strengths and experience that sets you apart. I answer this question about my experience developing software on different hardware architectures, recruiting college students, and coaching junior engineers and interns. I also organize team building activities to build healthy work relationships. Questions about how you think are asked to assess your thought process and maturity to see how well you'll perform at your job. Tell me a time when you had a complex problem. How did you solve it? People remember the tough problems because they had to struggle through it, and that sense of accomplishment is unforgettable. Have a story from your work experience or projects to talk about. Explain the problem, what made it difficult, and the steps you took to resolve it. Include people you sought help and knowledge from. How do you debug a problem? This is targeted for engineers, but it can be applicable to every situation. I answer this with 4 steps: reproduce, characterize, fix, and test. A real problem is reproducible. Set up the environment, run the code or test to failure, and see whether it happens every time or intermittently. Next, characterize the problem by tracing the logic or code to identify the root cause to understand why it's failing. With that knowledge, implement the fix, making minimal changes as possible. Finally, test to make sure the issue is fixed and nothing else breaks. Questions about how well you work with others are asked to assess your teamwork and communication skills. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with a team member. How did you handle it? When working with others, it is natural to think differently. When disagreements happen, I always try to listen to the other person first to understand their perspective. This shows my respect for them, and in turn, they will show respect for me. Most of the time. Acknowledge their approach and then suggest or recommend a better approach, your idea, but as close to their viewpoint as possible. There are 3 possibilities. They accept, compromise, or reject your suggestion, which is okay. The important point is you listened to what they had to say and are working together to achieve a common goal. Tell me about a time when you disagreed with your manager. The same approach with the team member question can be used with your manager. Unfortunately, if you express your thoughts and your manager still mandates you to do something their way, you don't have much choice. But still put out your ideas and voice your opinions. At the end of the day, it's a discussion to understand each other and work out differences. In terms of importance by weight between the basics, behavioral questions, and technical questions, behavioral questions is 15%. Master the tips from parts 1 and 2, and you'll be 40% of your way towards passing those interviews and getting that offer. That means the remaining 60% is in technical questions. Yes, that is more than half the total weight, and you can watch part 3 to find out why. The link will be posted in the description when it's released. I now ask you to write down these behavioral questions I discussed and write down notes on how you will answer them. I created a doc myself to review before every interview. It's a one-time effort that you can reuse for your future interviews for the rest of your life with slight modifications along the way. Try answering them verbally to hear yourself speak. Consistent practice is key. When you pass those interviews and get offers, you can thank me by hitting the like button, commenting below, and subscribing to my channel, Sinspiration, for more tips on self-growth, personal finance, career development, and education. Follow me on TikTok and Instagram for shorts and reels. You've been Sinspired today. See you next time in the final 3rd episode about interviewing.